Rob, not the sort of result you would have wanted, but does it actually mean anything?
Yes, I mean I think if you get into the state of saying results mean nothing, you're probably in the wrong business. But bigger picture, would I change the team that we selected? No. So I think that's probably the best answer to the question. There's a reality about where we need to be and where we need to be physically, in particular, and mentally, going into the last couple of weeks of the season. And I think what we've got out of today was some important things. It's given us a view on some players, which is always important. It's given us some experience into some younger players, which has to happen at some stage. And at the end of the day, we have rested and hopefully cleared up a couple of niggles in players who have played a lot of rugby this season and are undoubtedly likely to play against Northampton in the semi-final. So there's a collection of reasons where I can sit here and go, it was still the right thing to do. Would I have liked us to have performed better and expected us to perform a little better? Yes. But having said that, I think it would be churlish of me to sit here and go, did some of those mistakes happen purely around guys who were getting used to some Premiership rugby? Because they did. And I think if that happens, you then can't sit here and start trying to find all kinds of issues. The period after half time, it's literally purely down to some guys drawing breath after their first tough half of Premiership rugby. And it was a tough first half. We didn't quite get out of it. Maybe what we merited. It's a pretty fortuitous try against us, really. And we get over the line, it looks like a couple of times, and don't get any reward. And I think a few of the guys did draw breath in the changing room, and it really hurt us just after half time. The game got away from us probably a little too easily for my liking, but was that the thing that was going to probably happen today? Probably. It was probably going to be that someone would pick us off on the blind side because a couple of young guys haven't looked up and talked and just assessed what the situation is. Nick Skelton making a break through the middle. Geez, that happens against full strength sides all over Europe. And we've missed a tackle there. Bang, all of a sudden there's 14 points on the board, and we're backtracking, and then you start to maybe make the odd wrong decision because you can't really play too tactically as you start to go more points down, and we made a couple of errors doing that, which led to some points. And even at the end there, what we did was throwing an interception, looking for a try. There's lots of those moments, and to be fair to Saracens, those are the moments they capitalise on. There's chunks of the game where we're kind of in territorial control and possession of the ball, and we didn't really get much out of those. Saracens got a lot out of their moments on the ball, but that is their game. That's what they're good at. I think we've just said on the TV, if you could probably describe the balance of the two sides, Saracens probably ended up playing like better Saracens than we ended up playing like Chiefs. And I think that's why the balance shifted so far to probably your typical ex-Chiefs Saracens encounter, in that they just were better at what they do than we were at what we do, and the balance there meant that the scoreboard got away from us.
How do you manage the next couple of weeks?
Well, we won't manage the next couple of weeks any differently to we would have done if we'd won today. There is a reality that we've got an A-League semi-final on Monday, so we've got to get a team together for that. We'll then train Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as we'd anticipated, weekend off, and then it's a normal standard training week going into Northampton. Whatever the result there, we've got a semi-final. We still don't know who that's going to be against, so there's another important prep week there. But we will probably go into the Northampton game with our strongest, based on game minutes fitness, that we've probably done all season, and that will feel quite heartening for me, because actually if there's a time to going into a league game with probably your broadest fit squad, it will be that week, and that's what we're going to be able to do. And that's one of the decisions we made about today, is that's the scenario we want to be in, and now I've got to make sure that we make the most of that, and we maximise the fit bodies with a couple of good training weeks and a good 80 minutes against Northampton.
How much of an advantage does it give you that Saracens have to play in the Champions Cup final?
I know it sounds strange, but we don't even know if we're going to play Saracens again, so it might not give us any advantage. And in some ways, if there's one thing I would say, is that actually our disrupted game time around the end of the season is probably the thing that in some ways has hurt us the most. Because for the first time in 4 or 5 years we didn't go through the group stages of the Anglo-Welsh, now the Premiership Shield. That kind of broke up some continuity in training weeks and playing weeks. and obviously not getting into the latter stages of Europe, we suddenly start to find more free weekends than we used to before. So we have more guys with less game time than we had before, and I think actually, if you ask me personally, I would have no issue keep playing through. And I think actually Saracens look to be thriving on it, and there's no surprise to me. I don't see how it's automatically a disadvantage. I mean, Saracens have got a broad squad of good players. You know, why it's not a disadvantage? It's a disadvantage when you've got 15 players and you're desperately trying to wrap them in cotton and keep them fit. As your squad broadens, having games every week doesn't become a disadvantage. It becomes something you thrive on and something that allows you to keep gaining momentum.
And Rob, there's no, you're confident there's no sort of psychological impact of this result, the reasons you've given us, the players, you're confident they will be able to move on for the last...
There's always the damage of psychological issues, but then, you know, there's always also the flip side of that is if you look at our performances, we've been doing okay and we've been playing okay since we qualified, but the last performance that made us qualify for a home semi-final was away at Leicester, and I know Leicester have been kind of bumbling along and not playing so well, but we were good that night, and we were good the week before. You know, when we've actually had our foot down, we've been very good. Now, if someone's going to say there's a psychological damage, if a week ago we played Harlequins and we were what, 17, 19, 3 up at one stage, if we'd have just kept on rolling there and scored another 10 points and Harlequins hadn't scored, I would be worried if Harlequins come down again in our semi-final, because nature says, no, we can deal with this. Well, at the minute now we're a bit on edge and we know what we've got to pour into that game to win it. If it's Harlequins, we've got Northampton next week, we'll get a test of how hard it's going to be. And those are the kind of things that I'm actually pretty happy with. You know, there's a reality of us knowing that we've got to be good at what we do, and that tends to bring the best out of us. At the minute, however I want to dress it up, we don't have to be the best Exeter Chiefs we can be. We don't have to be. And at the moment, it's not bringing the best out of us. I've got to expect that when we do have to be the best we can be, it'll bring the best out of us.
Rob, finishing top of the regular season here.
Not yet, we haven't.
No, finishing top of the regular season. Is it important, or is it the momentum from that game kicking on which is more important?
It's so difficult to preempt anything, isn't it? And say, oh, it's going to be important, and momentum's important, or momentum's not. Because until we get there and we see the reaction of the players and we see how we react as a team and how we all kind of stick at it together, I won't know. You know, it could easily be that as not finishing top, and then it looks like, well, Gloucester look like they're going to finish playing Gloucester, and is having a real battle against a really quality side. Then it's a perfect preparation for the final. You know, or it could be we finish top and we have the same battle against a Northampton or a Harlequins, and that's great preparation.
I meant the pure fact.
Pure finish.
In the regular season.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, we've done that.
Yeah, exactly.
We've done it. We did it last season, and it didn't win us anything. You know, and we finished second and we won the Premiership. So if someone's going to sit here and say, what would I rather do? I'd rather finish second and win the Premiership. We finish top, come up and lose the final. So if you want to ask me what I want, I don't mind telling you.
That's right.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.